Pam Wilson here, author of Say Yes to the Universe. We're talking about clarity based on the art of spiritual peacemaking. And what Yeshua says about that is your gratitude for your meaningless error will bring the clarity you have lacked until now, and everything will make sense again. In my last video, we were talking about being willing to hear and to see what is actually going on rather than what we think is, knowing that our view of the world and our view of ourselves is often a little off from time, well, pretty regularly it's off. So being willing to look outside ourselves and be willing to seek feedback from other people to see what's really going on for us. There's something called the Johari window you may have heard about. You can Google it if you want more information about it. And I've heard it taught many different ways, but the way that makes the most sense to me is that there's a part of us that's what we call our public persona. It's the part that everybody knows about me. I know that I know. I know that I know I'm a woman. I know that I know how old I am. I know that I know I live in Northern Virginia. I know that I know I come from a certain family. I have a certain profession, that sort of thing. So the things that I know. And then there's the private part of you that you know, but you rarely tell other people about. So it's the inner workings of your daily life, or it's the thoughts that you think that maybe you think are not quite so publicly acceptable, but you know that they happen in your mind. But you wouldn't necessarily want everyone to know them. And then there's things you know you don't know. So I don't know how to skydive, and I don't know how to cure cancer, and I don't know how to trek the Himalayas. So there are certain things I know I don't know. But then there's this whole raft of things that are your blind spot, that you don't know you don't know. And that's where the power of feedback really comes clear. Now, that's also where a lot of times we find that meaningless error that we're talking about when we're talking about clarity. The meaningless error is often something that we didn't even know that was coming across to other people. And we may not even know that we're feeling that particular way or thinking that particular thing, but it's definitely coming across loud and clear to other people. Now, how do you know that this might be going on, or what might be going on? And once we find that meaningless error, can we forgive ourselves for that and come to peace in our life? And that's really the goal of all this discussion that we're having is, are you able to come to peace with who you are and what you say and what you feel and that sort of thing with your life in general? And I say absolutely yes. Now I say that because I, like you, have come to look inward and see what's going on. I had a troubled upbringing like many of you, and I survived it like many of you. So here we are in this world today, and every now and then those skeletons in our closet come back to haunt us, if you will. And I know I found a time about maybe 25 years ago, where I did not know that a lot of anger and even rage from my childhood had been bottled up and was starting to affect the people around me. I thought that I was perfectly happy and that I had put on a great face and that everybody was happy-doo-dah and everything was fine, and it turned out that that was not the case at all. That in fact I had actually shut down all my emotions because it was just too painful to feel the things that I was feeling, so I'd actually shut down. And it wasn't until I went to a personal growth seminar and got some very direct, and I must add, very uncomfortable feedback from people, honest feedback of the way that I was coming across. And the way that I was coming across, that I was pretty much a robot, that I was did not have any emotion, that I did not come across as someone who cared or that was loving at all or even approachable. And that's a pretty scary thing when my self-image was of somebody who was very loving and very caring, and that was a big one to take. And so that ended up being my meaningless error in that situation. Now, once I started to really look at that and start to come to terms with that from more of a neutral perspective, that willingness to see, then I was able to look back at what had created that and go through some processes that allowed me to feel those feelings, to clear them out, to heal them, and to move forward from that. So what is your meaningless error? What's that thing that maybe other people see that you don't even see yourself? Are you getting some feedback from people that you're going, that just can't be me, that's not me, they don't even know me? Well, they say if one person calls you a horse, then you can brush it off, but if a whole bunch of people call you a horse, maybe you should go get a saddle. So if you're getting the same kind of feedback over and over and you're willing to really see, then take a step back from a neutral perspective. Take the good and the bad and the right and the wrong off of it and take a moment and go, could this possibly be me? Am I willing to take a look and maybe consider that they might be right? If I'm getting the same feedback over and over, that's what I would recommend. So what is the clarity that you've been lacking so that you can get past those things that have been running you, unconsciously running you, and so you can live your life in peace and love? This is Pam Wilson, author of Say Yes to the Universe. See you next time with more on clarity.